Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American LCS. I'm David Freak Turley, here to make me some fun games. And of course, my partner in crime is going to be Joshua Jat-Leesman. What's up?
Make you some fun games. Honestly, when I looked at the schedule today, I saw the last 3 games, and those really stood out to me as the great ones. So yeah, I'm glad we get to cast 2 of them.
I'm glad we get to cast them too. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. But before we get to these games, this next part's actually really awesome. League of Legends is starting to capture the attention of athletic departments at colleges and universities. And Team Impulse's support Adrian honed his craft actually in such a program at Robert Morris University in Chicago. Take a look.
I'm a video game player in my youth and even now. And one day I was in my house just researching an old game I used to play, which led me to League of Legends. I was actually floored at the community and the size of the game. I felt like it was something that we could add into our athletic department, get some competitive players to play for our school and do really well. We presented it to the president of the university, and he saw the same merits that we saw in it.
I chose the Collegiate route because I just knew some people here, and I knew Agent's like a really, really qualified coach. Like, he coached Lemon Dogs. He's been involved in a lot of LCS teams. Like, he used to coach Orbit, which is now Cloud9.
I thought Collegiate, for League of Legends, at least schools offering scholarships for League, was at least a couple years away. But when he told me that there's a school that's wanting to do this right now, I was really excited. And he told me about their plan, what their vision is, and that really matched with what I would envision a program to be like.
You're arranged according to your skill level for the most part. I'm on Team White, which is the best team. The second best team is Black.
I'm on Team Gold currently, and I play support for them. When I found out about this program, I told them that I was interested. I got a call like 3 weeks later, offering me an A-level scholarship, and I was like, that's nuts.
We're offering scholarship to try to attract top-level talent to our university to play League of Legends. For our top scholarship, we're offering 50% tuition, 50% room and board, and we have a second-tier scholarship as well for sort of like a varsity reserve team, players that want to learn a league from some of our coaches and get better at it. We want them to be the best league player they can be, but we also want them, ultimately, the main goal is for them to graduate.
I live here with Leo, our mid laner. I prefer to go to the library and get my homework done like really fast with no distractions and then come back. We have scheduled times we have to be here. We have practice times we have set up. We have coaching. We, of course, scout out all of our opponents. This is a much more structured environment.
When the students walk in, we don't want them walking in a computer lab, and they had accounting class in there. We wanted it to be specific, sort of as much as we can get close to, like a mini LCS. Where they walk in that door, they feel like it's time for something different. It's time for serious practice. Jersey on, uniform on, they come into the arena and it's time, sort of punch the clock, it's time for work.
Today we're playing against Illinois State, I think they are, and we just got in the lobby. We're in Champion Select right now, and we're just picking our guys.
Let's bring guys up. I'm gonna do Toad Blue and then invade him.
She might come to you right now. You should be careful.
No, she's top.
I mean, we can. Yeah.
Careful, Leo.
Thanks.
All right, good game. There's game 1. One more. Yeah, buddy. Okay, there it is, game 2. I'm happy we got a sub 20-minute game. That always feels good. So I think we're gonna go celebrate a little bit.
There are some teams in our region that should pose a greater challenge than this team, and hopefully we'll be ready for them when the time comes. A lot of the players have, through the offseason and through the season, have increased at least 1 tier. There was a player on like the 4th team who's now on the 2nd team.
Our athletes are just as dedicated to their craft as any of our other traditional sport athletes are. And true, there's not a cardiovascular component to it, but I think if you start whittling down sports to that's the only element, then you start saying, okay, is football more of a sport than hockey, or is tennis more of a sport or less of a sport than soccer? You start to like split hairs. Competition, dedication, skill. If I played League for 23 hours a day for 5 months, I'm still not going to be as good as some of the players in our arena. That's just a fact. I think we can sort of attract some of that elite talent to our school, and we want them here. We're going to set the bar. We're going to keep moving it higher and see who can catch up.
Gotta say, it's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, I liked that story when it came out, when we heard they're giving out scholarships, and it's nice to see it come to fruition like that.
I kind of wish that existed when I was going to school, but unfortunately that all talent kind of went to waste. I actually got to run into the bottom lane here of Apollo and Adrian. It was like, so we're running a video on your old school.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about it? And Apollo jumps in and says, they worship him like a god. I was
Really?
like, I'm pretty sure you're trolling me, but that's the words. He is worship
maybe
making the transition.
the players on that team can tweet you to say if they actually do or not.
Yeah, Zig, you can call me out on that one. Anyway, guys, going to keep the action rolling with our next Rumble on the Rift. Team Impulse and Counter Logic Gaming. Now, after a week of playing with subs, both these teams have their intended lineups in place. Zion Spartan has been released back into the wild, will be taking over the top lane for CLG.
I can't wait to see how he will be able to do now. But remember, his first test will be against Team Impulse's new top laner, Impact, who won the 2013 World Championship with SKT T1. And last week, there was a lot of criticisms to Team Impulse's pick ban because they were criticized for not having enough synergy. But I actually talked with their owner and stand-in coach last week, Alex Gu, who was saying by design, they were going for champions that better highlighted individual strengths because they just didn't have the communication yet. But this week, they have a new coach coming in who's going to be helping them there. And also Impact's champion pool, he says, will open up substantially more options for them, as well as help almost babysit Rush's solo queue tendencies because he really respects Impact. And Impact should be able to keep him in line a little bit.
I feel like you've got to. It's like, I won a world championship. You came out of solo queue. You can listen to me a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter who you are, you're going to listen to Impact a little bit. Guys, going to check out the starting lineups here on the blue side. Team Impulse. Impact in the top lane. Rush in the jungle. Xiao in mid. Apollo on AD carry. And Adrian playing support.
And on the red side, it is Counter Logic Gaming with Zion Spartan back in the top lane, Xmithy in the jungle, Link in mid lane, Double After AD carry, and of course, Aphromoo on support.
And this is going to be all kinds of an interesting matchup. And
yeah,
I went on record last week saying I do believe in the bottom lane of Team Impulse. Kobe didn't think so himself. Or no, it was Zyrene who said the game was all about their solo laners in jungle. This is the first really scary test for the Impulse bottom lane. Again, I came in saying I believe in them, but they're facing Rush Hour. These guys are no slouches at all.
It's true. I mean, these are guys that are very much feeling like they're out of solo queue, even though Apollo did get LCS experience under the name Wiz Fusion on Coast.
Mm-hmm.
He never had good performances in LCS, aside from a game here
like
or there.
Yeah.
He had a 15-kill game one time, which is actually the most we'd had in that current split. But honestly, considering his solo queue prowess, which is top 10, 4 to 5 accounts in Challenger, his LCS just didn't fit up to the billing. But maybe this time around, with a few other star players on the team, I mean, Impact and Xiao should be able to draw a lot of attention. See if he can perform.
We'll see if it can happen, guys. Now, unfortunately, we are having some bugs with our production software, so the bans aren't showing up. We will read them off to you guys as it happens throughout the pick and ban phase.
Yep. Azir was the first ban from Team Impulse. Rek'Sai, the first ban for CLG. If anyone has a pen and paper at home, if you're that into it, and that's what I'm doing right now. Kassadin is well banned by Impulse.
Okay, yeah. So LeBlanc also removed away, which actually makes a whole bunch of sense. When you ban Kassadin, LeBlanc ends up being the champion you like to go for, so CLG removed that from Xiao. And right away, he's lost 2 of his big playmakers here. Is the team really about him? Lissandra, the third and final ban here for Team Impulse. So once again, Azir, Kassadin, Lissandra, the bans for the blue side TIP.
Yeah, they're really... I think those are generally just power pick bans.
Yeah.
There are so many power pick bans at this point of the season. I wonder if it's going to reach a point where there's just 50 power picks and then all right, time to target ban. Or if we'll end up seeing a few targeted nerfs to try and refresh things. It's the cycle of champions. Rumble is the final ban.
Yeah, so Rek'Sai, LeBlanc, Rumble, all 3 bans from Counter Logic Gaming on the red side. Impact not allowed to play this champion. And this is the first time we are seeing him, of course, on this roster. What did he pick up in the offseason? What's being played from this guy?
Thinking of the stuff that's still available, it's actually plenty. Jarvan Gnar is up.
Yep.
And it's something that CLG ran to great effectiveness.
Yeah, I feel like they would want to go for that one. The Janna first pick, though, says, I dare you to go for it. We'll disengage you.
Well, we saw this pattern play out a little bit in our first game of the day.
Yeah.
With Team Dignitas versus, it was...
Gravity, right?
Yeah, versus Gravity. And it was a very, very slow game because Gravity also picked a fair bit of poke and siege with their Jarvan Gnar. I wonder if CLG is going to go full all-in or if they're going to try and match this Janna with something. It's a big decision here, actually. I'd expect them to go Jarvan Gnar.
You would expect so. I just wonder if it's something that Zion's going to want to play here. He had, I would say, very limited success playing typical tanks in the top lane back when he was on Coast, even a bit with Dignitas as well. His big signatures being champions like Jax, which, by the way, we saw beat Gnar 2 games ago, so there's always a chance he keeps that around and baits it through. But CLG taking plenty of time, and no Doublelift is going to get the Kalista.
Funnily enough, I ran into Doublelift while he was grabbing his gear for this game, and I said, so you're going to play Kalista, right? So you can compare yourself to Sneaky. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I thought we would be seeing a Kalista. Surprisingly, they throw that in there. And no Gnar on the backside to deny the combo.
Interesting, yeah, not something that really Impulse seems to care about much at all here. Lee Sin comes in for Rush, even though Jungler's already grabbed. Though Lulu as well for Xiaowei. Xiao, a fairly defensive and low damage team. This actually reminds me of the first Team Liquid game where they played around Keith with Kog'Maw, because they need damage pretty desperately. And it's
True.
Impact and Apollo who can do it.
You're absolutely right there. Could be a lot of protection. Could also be a top lane Lulu.
That's true too.
It's not a foreign pick for Impact. It's a nice flex pick they can throw in there since they don't have the last pick as of yet.
Oh, wow.
Tonky. No Gnar, though.
Yeah. So Gnar not going to be part of the picture here. The mid lane are the only champion left to go for Counter Logic Gaming. They're going to let that flex pick show up. No, it is going to be a tank top lane for Zion Spartan. The Scion is there, and Aphromoo making his second appearance on Blitzcrank here in 3 games.
I mean, it's pretty stylish when you have Kalista Blitzcrank.
Oh, man.
If you want to, you can do the super hook.
Oh, no.
With Blitzcrank on Kalista. Doublelift and Aphromoo do it all the time in solo queue. Blitzcrank throws out his hook, Kalista pops the ultimate, and the guy goes flying backwards. Or you can just throw Blitzcrank in so he can get a power push right in someone's face. However, the tank line for Zion Spartan will be interesting how he does on Sion. Specifically because he doesn't know what he's laning against yet. It could also mean they're well suited for lane swaps if people want to avoid the Kalista Blitz lane. A lot of options here.
You're hearing the ooze from the crowd. They're hovering over a Yasuo for either Impact or Xiaowei Xiao. The sigh, as everyone says, no, but it's going to be Xerath. So you're right, it is top lane Lulu after all. The weight is then on Apollo and Xiaowei Xiao to carry the damage here. And of course, plenty of disengage from the Janna.
Super poke comp.
Oh, yeah.
But because of the Corki, not a large amount of late game impact from that poke comp. So the Xerath will obviously be a monster late game, but this is more of a Impulse wants to reach a power spike around the 25-minute mark and then really go.
Yeah.
It's actually the same 2 solo laners Dignitas had in their team composition. This is 4/5 of the Dignitas team that lost earlier with that poke composition, I'm pretty sure. And they just need, they need to force stuff around the 25-minute mark and then try and disengage CLG's tank line as they try and dive in and don't have the tank stats yet to withstand Lulu and Xerath. So hopefully this is a more crisply played version of that similar team composition.
I think there's a good chance for it here. You've got a Scion just to barrel in, though, so Team Impulse will have to be a little bit careful. Counter Logic Gaming to show their mid laner up against Xerath. Long-range siege. They go for Cassiopeia.
City's going in.
Oh, yeah, they are.
That's one thing for sure. Cassiopeia was banned in one of the games today, picking up a ton of steam in the mid lane. In LCK last night, it was banned frequently. It's one of those things that has just caught on very recently. It's actually been nerfed on the live servers. So Link, we'll get to check out those Cassiopeia mechanics.
And interestingly, he's also hovering on Ghost Flash for his summoners. The only real downside that Cassiopeia has is she doesn't move around very fast. Her build tends to be tanky, her damage is plenty high. So hey, let's make sure I get into these fights. Ghost Flash also here for Xiaowei Xiao, covering a fairly similar weakness here with summoner spells. We've got the full lineup. So you said, yep, a disengagey, let's kite back team for Impulse. Counter Logic Gaming a whole bunch of barrels forward.
And damage. And what has been coined apparently the Ballista lane for Kalista Blitzcrank, which I think is pretty catchy. I hope they pull one of those combos off. I mean, if anything, to break a team from a siege, it's a 2,000 range hook.
Yeah, that's going to be all kinds of scary. So the coaches shake hands. They walk themselves off the screen. Of course, Zig's still doing it there for Counter Logic Gaming until Scar takes his place. So what, a week and a half from now?
Was it a 3 or 4 week ban?
3 or 4, I forget exactly, but it's going to be fun when we get everyone in the lineups anyway. As we head on to the Rift, send your picks to @LOL Esports on Twitter with either the hashtag TIPWin or CLGWin. We're going to check back to see who you think is going to take this game later on. Poke versus hard engage and plenty of damage to follow it up. It's going to be tricky, I think, for Impulse to navigate. Their first game with their new lineup. Same for Counter Logic Gaming. And Impact versus Zion is a matchup I also care about quite a bit.
Well, Aphromoo has been linked with Double Lift now. They're together forever.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I just love it when compositions clash like this.
Yeah.
Where one team early picks a disengage and then goes all in with the rest of their picks. And instead of just matching it and creating a boring experience, the enemy team decides, we don't care that you can disengage, we're just going to engage you very aggressively. And CLG trying to use the blitz for some early pressure.
And it forces, of course, Impulse to run the heck away, because, yeah, it's a blitz invade. Welcome to how this game works. Impact sneaks in for a nice deep board. He'll be able to know if anyone starts on the top side here.
Well, one other thing about picking a Scion here is it is really good in lane swaps. What Scions often do in lane swaps will suicide to Wolves, finish it, hit level 2, because the passive will allow you that extra attack speed, no real penalty, teleport back into lane, use his E to get level 3, and just become a brick. Scion in a 1v2 is, by far, I'd say, the best 1v2er in the game. So if that ends up happening, Zion Spartan should have a big CS advantage. I mean, we saw Balls doing it last week.
Yeah?
He accrued a 100 CS advantage over the enemy top laner, in small part to that start. That's not what CLG appears to be doing right now, though. They are in a lane swap, but they're not doing the Scion cheese.
Did they just like straight proxy this wave?
Yeah, they definitely did.
What? I really want to see what happens here. So of course,
Yeah,
pretty
they can't go for a freeze at this point. They're going for a fast push.
This turret's going to take itself some damage at the very least. This is still not something I really expected. So here's what's interesting though. This will actually become a freeze again. They left part of the wave up. This wave's going to die to the turret, and a giant wave's going to build up. Impact is forced to TP early, but he gets hooked! Oh, Impact, no!
And they can kill him on the backside if they do a nice dive, but that means they have to give up the freeze.
God.
This is a difficult decision for CLG. Impact should not get that far!
Oh my God, what just happened? Goodbye, Impact.
And welcome to the North American LCS, apparently. Not a very warm welcome.
Yeah, Piglet and Impact both had pretty harsh openings here. Sneaky's Callista and 4 people of CLG.
If Impact, first off, the hook is a mistake, but that happens against a Blitzcrank. Hug the turret against the wall, not against the dangerous place where people could be. That was just a big misplay by Impact, and CLG takes large advantages there. First blood to Xmithy, which means despite all the lane tomfoolery, he gets an early jungle item upgrade.
Wow, okay, so Counter Logic Gaming off to a nice, happy start here. Zion with a late trip to bottom lane, only level 1 still, but looks like he's only facing the Corki and already hit level 2 now, so Zion likely to be safe here with the Doran's shield. It is pushing away, though, this wave, so Apollo could build a freeze, and Impact and Rush are heading down to make Zion's life even more difficult.
Rush was making a lot of uninformed invades last week. This looks like a much more team-focused play. He goes quite early,
flash.
Cutting him off, no flash, goodbye.
And Zion Spartan, who do you want to give the kill to? Team Impulse, they will get the assist on everybody, and it's going to go to Apollo. So these guys are, run away.
Not a smart play there by Zion Spartan. Basically suiciding for the CS.
All right.
Get the next one.
You got one.
And that was the unfortunate thing. Instead of maintaining a double jungle while his lane is there, or instead of calling for team support while he's down in that 1v2, he is left completely on an island. And there's nothing good can come of that unless Team Impulse completely abandons the situation. CLG not playing as a team there, and it cost Zion Spartan his life.
All right, so there we go. It's going to be a quick dragon take, which is what we used to see when people sent their dual lane top lane. The other guys got dragon here. And 4.5 minutes in, Impulse will grab this one nice and cleanly. And it's very interesting, just because we're back with the new season, we're back with lane swaps, the different ways these swaps are played.
Oh yeah.
Because so many times we've seen a laner walk in the lane, try to absorb XP, and now about half the time they get punished very hard for it.
Because at the start of the year, they weren't getting punished at all because everyone was just doing the full free swap. Zion, though, defending his turf here.
No fear at all, but I feel like Rush has Smite up, and he's gonna grab it for himself. down goes the blue buff of CLG, and that's got to be a multi-buff start.
And unless CLG sends Zion Spartan some help, he should not be able to farm. The lane is frozen away from him. And either Zion Spartan puts himself in position where he can die.
Again.
Or he gets 0 experience. And I don't think he has a choice here, so I'm wondering if Impulse is going to adequately punish that and continually kill him.
I think right now he's playing around the fact that he knows what
Rush was
Jarvan's
very
up
low.
to. Right,
And Rush
was
was
low. I believe Impact was part of that. He got low as well. He's like, okay, I got 30 seconds till he recalls and walks back across. But now Vision's gone. Rush could be anywhere. There's a couple deep wards, though. CLG has held the western jungle pretty nicely. They'll know if Gromps or maybe even Wolves gets done. So for now, Cyan is just barely in XP range. Janna, not the best punisher of being greedy in your lanes.
And it looks like Impulse is going to just let that sit 1v2.
Okay. And they see Rush, so Cyan's going to be just nice and happy. Nice pink ward there is going to remove some more of the aggressive wards, and Rush says, my jungle's gone.
Yep, it was timely counter-jungle by Xmithy. I mean, completely sacrificing the safety of his solo laner in order to pull off that play, but because Impulse decided not to camp Zion Spartan, it pays off.
Ooh, Impact. Slowed down, but I don't know if there's enough damage. Does a Caspia over the wall? Nothing much gain. Pink ward clear, but Xiao Xiao might have something to say about it. Blitzcrank should be able to zone them off pretty successfully. And indeed, CLG gets the first, I believe, pink ward kill of the game. But they're not done. Impact. I'm a little afraid for you, but here comes Rush. Here comes Adrian. Xiao Xiao's off to the side as well. This is a bit dangerous. The hook is going to catch Impact. There's a knockup. A lot of damage. Will they get him? Yes, they do. Aphromoo claims the kill thanks to Ignite. Rush almost dead. Xiao Xiao doesn't quite save it. Cleanse flash from Link makes it 2-0.
CLG making some good plays on that side of the map specifically. Big time hooks by Aphromoo and good follow-up by the rest of CLG. Impact not having a nice debut here after arriving on Tuesday.
Wow, CLG with a lot of support from the crowd for sure. I gotta say, very incredible play. They've kept the freeze on the Callista, by the way. 64 CS, pretty much perfect. Zion Spartan has actually gotten a little bit of minions here. Apollo had to push that one in. And the resulting 4v4 from everyone else leaving the lane, just CLG did a better job of it.
And Zion Spartan is reaching the point where he can actually withstand some of these ganks.
Yeah,
whereas the jungle control by CLG on the blue buff of Impulse is persistent, if nothing else. He might try and seal this with his Aerithal, too slow.
Smithy just making sure it does go to his team. Doesn't care too much about who it goes to, and that is a blue buff. Of course, the tier for Link. He's going to make his mana woes not really existent. Plus, he got his own blue from the last fight, I believe, when he killed Impact. So, not a big problem.
Big gold lead for CLG here, 2,000.
Yeah.
Even without a turret kill, is quite high. It's trying to figure this out. Top lane CS
about
combined with
kills.
first blood bonus.
Yeah.
And obviously the dragon isn't showing in the gold value. Plus it doesn't have much real value yet since it's just attack damage ability power, and not much is built up on Impulse yet.
No. Almost nothing here, but looks like they're already looking to break some pressure. Aphromoo is all over the map right here. Xiao Xiao cannot land the juke. He flashes, does make him survive.
Aphromoo is really on point with this Blitzcrank now. Boots of mobility before Sightstone, running around and trying to make plays. Now keep in mind, he's left Double Lift up there by his lonesome, so Double Lift is over-leveled in a sense, whereas Aphromoo is severely under-leveled. He needs to continue to make plays as a level 4 Blitzcrank now, if they don't want to get punished for this.
We're also seeing, as we talk about Double Lift and see him hopping around, differing item builds here.
We've seen this from a lot of different Callistas. Space Callista for CJ Entis was, I think, the first player to play that in LCK over in Korea. He would go Infinity Edge first, which I'm not a fan of. I definitely love the attack speed early. That's when I think Callista gets a lot of her early mobility. Whether that's a Blade of the Ruin King or a Hurricane is arguable. I'd say the Callista does need the lifesteal, which is why you normally see a Vamp Scepter first. But because of the lane swap situation and the fact that Double Lift has been able to free farm, the Hurricane at this point is the right call, and it gives him so much damage and threat super early in the game.
And look how fast this turret's going down. It's going to fall for certain. Down it goes. Double Lift gets that for himself. And yeah, I kind of want to agree with your point here. There's actually another Korean player, OQ, I believe, who plays for Najin.
Yep.
Similar build when IE Shiv last we saw him play the champion. This is actually the first Hurricane build I've seen in pro play. Was
It's
actually
like a choose your own adventure for these builds. Blade of Ruin King first, IE first, or Hurricane first.
Why not? I do like the Hurricane builds, though. I think they are stronger as a personal preference, but we'll have to see as they play out throughout the season.
Well, specifically, we'll definitely get back to the game, but we need to talk about Callista here because it's the first Hurricane first build we've seen. I think the reason Hurricane is so good on Callista is she's so hyper-mobile in 1v1 situations. As a duelist against tanks, she's going to win anyway, so you want to gang up on her. Therefore, she brings Hurricane to hit the people that are ganging up on her.
Yeah, it definitely helps, and of course, just Ren scales with Hurricane just so easily, slowing multiple targets, getting resets more easily. Right, the cooldown comes back if you kill any target with it, so if you can hit a caster minion twice, with passive Hurricane bolts, you get to do more Rens on people. There's a lot of really nice synergies in the build.
As far as the game is concerned, though, the Dragon is up, and CLG now knows exactly when, since Impulse was not taking it on cooldown. And it's all about the mid-game turret pressure here. I wonder if Impulse will be able to recover from their death-filled early game and not forfeit the Dragon for this.
Gonna have to see 2,800 gold lead for Counter Logic, thanks partially to the turret kill here. Zion has teleport. Of course, so does Impact up there, so you'd expect these guys could both show up. All the variables point to the teams being able to battle if they would want to. Problem is no Triforce for Apollo, whereas Hurricane's of course done for Double Lift. Seraph's already combined for Link, so he's even got some nice ability power on himself. Just
very
kind of
squishy.
Going to depend on the willingness of everyone.
Yeah, Link is going to be very squishy. I'm impressed that he's been able to keep his farm with Xerath going early tier on Cassiopeia. It does look like CLG is grouped for the Dragon, though, and they may get this one uncontested.
Now they're going to start, and of course the Callista Ren's going to make that happy if Double Lift does show up here. Looks like Link's going to make that happen. No one's in range to steal. This should go pretty cleanly. There you go.
One of those classic Dragons where you use your Smite to secure it, because Double Lift wasn't finishing this off. And regardless of what happens in this early game, while CLG does have a bit of a lead, I do want to see the team comp interaction, because I don't think CLG is so far ahead as to make the compositional differences irrelevant. Impulse will still want to group and set up a siege, and as long as Xiao can get to his needlessly large rod pretty soon, the Xerath poke will really get a large amount of damage, and if Impulse can group during that moment, will still force CLG into an initiation situation against a disengaged heavy team.
True.
Which I want to see if they're far enough ahead to make it work.
Well, right now it looks like people aren't willing to duel anybody. We've had just a completely empty lane against Double Lift. He's done whatever he wanted, pushed turrets down. Now it's going to be mid lane as well. Aphromoo zones him away. Look how far back Xiao is forced to play. The fear of a fight happening is actually zoning out more than the Xerath poke would have done.
I mean, we just look at Impact. He's got a little baby build right there, an Amp Tomb and 2 Doran's rings.
Uh-oh.
They can't disengage yet.
Good smite.
And they're really denying Xiao's ability to farm in lane. That's one of the reasons Link was able to keep up. If we think back, that's the second blue buff in a row they've stolen.
I want to say it's all 3 since they
wanna
started with the first one. Uh-oh, Xiao, the flash hook! Not going to land, they tried! They tried the ballista, didn't quite happen this time. Xiao burns his ghost for it. Down goes the cooldown for Double Lift.
Yeah, kind of pay a pretty big price in cooldowns there. I wonder if they get punished now that Aphro was without a flash.
Oh, Adrian careful, gets the silence, flashes just in time, but down goes Aphromoo! The stun onto Apollo, will he go down? A lot of damage coming through. Valkyrie's away, not quite in range, forces Summoner heal, wants to get out of that rend range, which is fairly short.
Great stun by Xiao Xerath right there as Aphromoo was trying to aggress. Now they go for red.
Whoa, the flash engaged, the dunk comes in. Nice kick, but Rush, no, he's gonna get the kill onto Xmithy. Gives it to Apollo, beautiful.
Some definite over-aggression there from Xmithy. They were already down Blitzcrank, who was their main playmaker, and they thought they'd be able to punish. Now 2 kills go down onto Apollo's Corki. That's a lot of power from the poke game, as well as another kill going down to Xerath. Those are the people that CLG don't want having gold.
Oh, no way! That was beautiful!
Right through the line of the minions right there. There was the melee minions and the caster minions, and Aphromoo saw the lane, and he just pulled them in.
Field goal for Aphromoo. In fantasy, it's only 1.5 points, though.
All right.
What? I thought it was cute.
That's good enough. We'll take another look at this one. Oh.
And he breaks the Valkyrie, too.
Apollo absolutely thought he was behind the minion line right there.
He walks back forwards.
Not every minion line.
Aphro, the superhero.
Still a relatively close game.
It is, it is. So certainly the ability to create something out of nothing really is here on both sides. We've seen these Zera stuns make great things happen, and I think there is some outplay potential in the lineup in general because you can turn around any overcommit. Rush has actually done a great job, I would say, so far as well. 3 assists to his name, 100% participation. He's already at like 98% over the first week, so he's still the playmaker for sure. They just got to keep him getting strangled out by Counterlogic Gaming. No turret still for Impulse, which you gotta expect is not what they wanted to start this game like.
No, I mean, Team Impulse has 4/5 of the Dignitas composition from game 1. And even though this game is showing much more aggression, mainly from CLG's side, the ability for Impulse to make plays is very much matching Dignitas' ability to make plays in that first game. It's not all in the composition, it's just the fact that with this composition, if you fall behind early, it is really difficult to set up siege plays, especially now that they've lost control of their jungle and their outer tier of turrets. If Impulse wants to push up and set up a siege in the mid lane, they're at a ridiculous risk to flanks. It's almost impossible for them to make that move.
Yeah, Boots of Moby, Blitzcrank actually going to spot Rush, gets kicked into the turret though, takes some poke, gets ulted away, Double will save his teammate. But look at that, the amount of scariness Aphro's got to deal with.
Yeah, just an update to our double lift / Callista build discussion from earlier. Freeze in the European LCS also started Hurricane. So.
I forgot about that one. Adrian, nice hook. Aphromoo gets turned it back around on though. Good vengeance there by Apollo. Turret's still on fire though. Double lift just not taking damage. Plenty of siege still happening, despite the fact that this isn't necessarily what the comp is supposed to do. Counterlogic Gaming playing up into the face of their opponents. Now once again, Aphromoo's dead. They're staying aggressive though, and this bit them in the back last time. Some good damage into Apollo, and out they go.
Yeah, as long as they're not super hard engaging blindly, they'll be okay. They have some vision here.
Oh, knock up onto Rush. There's so much damage available. Just gets away with 100 health with the poison. Wow. Not quite enough.
So close. Impulse on a knife's edge here, trying to just withstand the barrage of aggression from CLG. They're really taking it to him as well. Good vision control in the jungle means more catches possible, and they need to keep taking down these turrets.
This one's going to be falling for sure, but mid lane is under fire as well. Impact and Xiaowei Xiao has something to say about the mid lane. Teleport from Zion. Spartan comes in towards the mid, though. They want to re-engage this. Xiaowei Xiao forced to ghost away. Zion sees him. Gets stunned up, takes some poke, but he's so tanky. Impact takes a hook, ults himself, will go down. Link claims another.
Feels like Aphromu's hook accuracy is really high this game when compared to most Blitzcranks we see. He is landing so many of them. As long as he doesn't flash before he tries to hook, it's good in this one.
Double sees Rush. He wants this duel, gets chilling, smited. He's going to chill out from this one. Rush is going to get away. But mid under fire, CLG relentless this game. And Tip missing. Oh, the flash hook! They got him! Xiaowei Xiao goes down. That was beautiful.
The ballista play pulled off perfectly right there. That'll cascade into the second dragon for CLG. Some flash to their plays this week.
Man, well, you said as long as they don't flash, the plays work fine. Looks like that was enough for him here.
This is one of those things, Blitzcrank and Callista, that you see the champion kits and you and your buddy go play in a team builder game and you say, all right, we're going to pull this off. You don't expect to see it in an LCS Pro match. You really don't. It takes so much trust in each other to be able to pull this off. It was a large clump of Impulse. To their fault, they weren't behind the minion wave as they should have been, and they saw the opportunity. Dulwich and Aphromoo make a highlight play that people normally only dream of, especially in pro play, and they do it right there.
That is awesome. I wonder, actually, how many pointers Doublelift himself gave Aphro for the Blitzcrank play, since that was Doublelift's old claim to fame before he was the AD carry of Counterlogic Gaming. He was a really high-level Blitzcrank main. Only played them.
Yeah, back
I wonder.
one.
Now, is Aphro's Blitz better than Doubles ever was?
I don't think we even have to go there. They're teammates, right? It's not everything.
It's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, if anything, Double have said, hook the man, and Aphromoo said, okay.
Aphro, though, for all his aggression, getting poked out a little bit. 20-minute Baron attempt, though. Smithy has taken a lot of damage. Link has to tank some of this. Scrygrum's going to spot them, though, and they have to run away from Xiao Wei Xiao. Oh, yeah.
A nice attempt to Baron sneak, honestly. That's one of the things they would need if they want to start closing this game out against an Impulse team composition, which will be hard to close on. Finally, Impulse gets that first turret because of the risk CLG took to try and sneak that Baron.
Really good instincts by Apollo to hit 4 on top of the Baron pit. There's the clear on the Scuttler, so there's about a minute and a half cooldown on trying any more Baron sneaks. No way CLG can get away from that. That buff to double. Got his Zerk Greaves. He's scaling up nicely. And we're seeing it start to go, I would say, pacing-wise, a bit back towards Team Impulse. It feels like they've stopped hemorrhaging so many turrets and kills. Maybe that's just because the Baron sneak got thrown off, but...
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's an investment that gets punished a little bit by CLG, and for all the flashy plays that CLG is throwing down here, the fact remains these compositions are very divergent in what they want to do.
And they're still both online. Like, they can both do what they want to do. They're not... Neither stifled out. So, Impact. Bottom lane split push. Not answered right now, actually. He's going to get some unanswered pressure here. CLG want the top lane as a result, though. Impact will have to TP if they want to defend this before too long. Another wave coming in about 10 seconds. CLG's going to tank this turret up. Looks like they're under no threat at all. And down goes a turret again for CLG. Great rotation.
Yeah, honestly, I think Impulse is trying to get a fair bit of gold here. They have to make it to defend this, though. And that time, the Ballista does not pay off. Doublelift playing very confidently right now, dodging everything.
He does not care that people can throw skill shots at him.
Keep in mind, though, Impact's still going to push. So unless CLG is willing to dive that inhibitor turret 4v5 with the teleport up, they have to stop their push.
Yeah, without Flash on Blitz, without a Callisto ult, I feel like that's going to be unsuccessful pretty soon. CLG, though, say, hey, remember this Baron that we tried for before? We might try again. Clear the wards.
And it depends about the depth of their vision control as well, which they're starting to get.
Yeah, great wards in the western jungle. CLG can spot all the approaches there. Dragon not on the table right now. Southern jungle doesn't mean nearly as much. Looks like Zion will get this farm back, although Impact was down heavily in that matchup of the Lulu versus Sion matchup. That whole split push caught him back up to parity here. Bought himself a Magi Soul Stealer, by the way. That was most recent recall, so...
Well,
we'll see if that pays off.
I completely agree with that purchase. One thing to note, though, with the new Magi Soul Stealer, it does start with 5 stacks. It's almost gold efficient. I still think he should have gone for Void Staff components or Death Cap components just for the guaranteed power, seeing as they are already far behind. But at this point, he is almost banking on a CLG mistake, because that is the only way he can reasonably get stacks on Lulu.
Yeah, I guess if you
that transitions into a win.
Yeah, I guess if you expect that Impulse thinks they're going to lose unless they catch a mistake, they make that mistake mean a whole lot more if you get 5 Magi stacks off of it. So that's the risk he's taking. Will CLG play into this? Will they give them that one bad team fight that opens the game right back up? But CLG on the inside track to the top lane over here. There's no one to answer. This turret's going to lose a lot of help. There's the teleport as well, keeping the minion healthy. And here we go.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest turrets to get against Azerath, and they just out-rotated the crap out of Impulse. They need to be able to finish that off, and they do.
In comes Lee Sin. This could be a fight. Kicks him into 2. Smithy low on health. Double gets exhausted, making his jumps a bit slower, fewer between. But out they go. CLG got an inhibitor turret. Rushes ward, spots the team. The Q is going to land. Double still wants to deal damage. They're getting poked back by Xiao Wei Xiao. Stun on a Blitzcrank. Hook's going to dodge. Nice move by Rush to get away from that one. Nice attempt by Aphro. Trigger spots all of CLG at half health. Impulse are healthier right now. There's the attempted engage. Look for Xiao Wei Xiao. They're gonna see him. There's the knockup, but is the counterattack too much? Rush forced away on the side. Double chasing him down over there, but he hooks someone back in. Flash away from Janet. Smithy is now low. He's one hit from dead. Can they make that happen?
Link!
The two-man stun from Link. Down goes Xiao Wei Xiao. Down goes Apollo. And Team Impulse could not make that happen.
Link with the turn. You could see how well Impulse was peeling right there. Because Aphromoo didn't get the cleanest engage, they were starting to turn it around. But then Link, the great equalizer right there with the Cassiopeia ultimate, taking down 2 and giving CLG this inhibitor.
And there you go. Well-earned counter Logic Gaming. Of course, Double can't hop that wall, so back he goes. Quick, safe recalls, no other big risks, but an inhibitor dead and Dragon being up means CLG wants to heal up. Go back to full power here. Before they steal some buffs away, they're kind of staggering their recalls, which worries me slightly. They'll be without Link and without, I believe it's, well, Afro's back now, but without Link for a long time now.
I think they'll be all right. We know that Impulse can't make many plays on their own. Take another look at this one. Yeah, it was a nice throw by Aphromoo, but he couldn't get the immediate combo right there. It was another good hook onto Adrian to stop his Janna ultimate, but as we see, the disengage had happened, and CLG can only engage in so many ways. As Impulse wanted to turn that one around, though, Link found the perfect Cassiopeia ultimate on 2 priority targets, too, which is really what turned that fight.
Only 2 damage dealers. Absolutely beautiful. That's going to be Dragon number 3 for Counter Logic Gaming. They're going to move even faster here. They clear the wards away. A very well-controlled game from these guys. Glimmers of hope for Team Impulse, certainly, but never enough to make you think they're in the driver's seat.
Well, from minute 1, COG's just been making plays. And I think it's always been a calling card of CLG when they're at their best. All the big highlight plays when they look like they're going to become a top-tier NA LCS teams over the years is when they're willing to take risks and they're working. And right now they're very willing to take risks, and they are working. So this is looking like an incredibly strong CLG at the moment, as long as they can close this one out.
Well, they're going to try to use Baron to make that happen. Looks like Doublelift not taking too much damage. They put it in the Fog of War. Zerathel's going to see the team. Low chance of a steal. And Ren's going to make that happen. Baron goes to Counter Logic Gaming, 8,000 gold lead, 3 dragons to 1. Everything their way, and you figure with Baron, maybe they close it out soon.
Yeah, they already have 1 inhibitor down in the top lane. The easiest move for them is straight to the bottom lane. They're going to want to get that lane shoving as soon as possible, though. Interesting choice not to recall, since they're all sitting on close to 1,000 gold. But if they can get a hook, it's time to go.
They caught him, and down he goes. Turret's going to be theirs. A little bit of poke, but who really cares? Down goes mid lane tier 2. 7 turret pickups for Counter Logic Gaming, and now without a jungler, they might stay even further.
Yeah, the long-range minion. They know rushes. The only person who can actually initiate for Impulse, down for another 15 seconds. Let's see how well they can keep them back from this turret. CLG might want to go in here.
They're going to try knock up on Aphromoo. Not going to find himself a hook, but the inhibitor turret will go down. Rush up in 2 seconds, but it's not going to be in time. 2 inhibitors now dead. Counter Logic Gaming in complete control here.
It's looking like a great clean win here for CLG. Honestly, just a great performance. The Blitzcrank play by Aphromoo has made so many plays, and Link is someone who is having a very strong performance. Obviously, he was aided heavily by the blue buff denial that CLG had on Xiao Wei Xiao Xerath, but the team fight ability of his Cassiopeia, flashing over walls to clean up many kills, and also building heavily glass cannon early on with the straight tier into the upgrade, are very good signs for CLG, since Link's play has fallen under much criticism in the past.
And he's been super consistent this game. I'm actually really impressed as well, considering he was facing Lee Sin Xerath. You gotta feel like those two could punish a slower mage like Cassiopeia. Did not happen. Props to Link for sure, just echoing what you're saying. 30 minutes in, Counter Logic Gaming looking for their 3rd and final inhibitor kill here. Zion Spartan, I think, has yet to ult this game.
I was just going to say that. We haven't heard the Scion sound a single time. So Hall, much ado about nothing apparently for the first week of Zion Spartan's play. He's going to come in. He's going to be Zion, and CLG's going to play great. Not to say it's not a great acquisition for them, but this week it is the team that is winning for CLG.
And there we go, the flash hook. Yep, they got him. Xiao flashed the way safely, but in comes Sion and Jar. Already popped the ult for that one. In goes the fight. Can they get much more? Janna is dead. Apollo is soon to follow. Yep, down he goes too. 2-0 in this fight. They can ride the minions into the Nexus. They're going to stay for the inhib for now, but again, they could go for more than just fantasy points. And here we go. More kills, because why not, Counter Logic Gaming? This game is well in control. Link one hit away. Pops the shield. Jukes it all. Uh-oh. One more shot, right?
Aphromoo wants to get one off the fountain. Nope. Not today, but CLG with a nice win over Impulse.
30 minutes and 30 seconds. A very well-earned victory by Counter Logic Gaming, controlled from start to finish. One of the more interesting level 1s I've seen in a while.
Yeah. The new age freeze from CLG. Dropping a few minions, it makes the freeze easier as well as having presence for the early jungle invade.
Yeah.
I think we actually going to see that from multiple teams in the future.
Yeah, that was really clever.
It is a nice, clever move, and you could tell that Impact did not react to that properly whatsoever. Obviously, Blitzcrank Cook is one thing, but measuring when 4 people in your jungle and you can't have backup that early because either he needs to completely abandon or just give it up. But it was the performance in general here from CLG. Yeah, it's got to be a nice confidence boosting game right there to pull off so many Blitzcrank hooks, to pull off the Ballista Blitzcrank Ballista combo in a pretty critical moment in the game, and actually gave him a nice kill on a Xiao and then a Dragon.
So here we have the LCS guys, the Season 3 World Champions coming into North America. Impact and Piglet both having very rude introductions to the scene. One game only, I'm not discounting the players.
Yeah.
But the only bright spot for Team Impulse was their bottom lane.
Hey, Apollo did pick up a few nice kills on the backside of fights. To speak a little bit to Impact and Piglet today, especially Impact coming in and having a pretty poor performance, those guys are in a tough situation.
Sure.
A really tough situation because the other teams did have a week of practice. They had a week of LCS play.
Sure.
Like, Impact stepped off a plane from Korea on Tuesday.
That's true.
Getting over jet lag, playing with the team. Please hold off on your judgment of these guys because it is a 9-week regular season, and we are just in week 2.
Cloud9 looked abysmal week 1, looked amazing today. Like, these guys turned it around in 6 days' time. So certainly, I have high hopes for all the teams here. Of course, CLG with Zion had a great team comp, and they played it really well for themselves. So these guys are off on the ground running. We're going to see how their season matches up as well. But for now, we're going to send it down to Riv, who's standing by on the red side.
Thank you very much, Freak and Jad. I am joined by Aphromoo with some crazy blitz pulls coming out this game. Let's start right from pretty much minute 1. The kind of lane proxy you guys pulled off, was that to quickly kill top lane? Because you guys went on that real hard.
Peter actually came up with that where we would proxy the wave, and usually, you know, it actually worked this time. So that was pretty cool, and we actually got a kill of it and got ahead in 2v1, so that was really good.
Now, how do you actually practice something like that? Because if you show that to a team in scrims, obviously they're going to know it. Is it just something you've tried pretty much the first time?
Tried it a couple times, and just wanted to see if it would work this game, and it did.
Right on. All right, you obviously pulling out Blitzcrank twice in a row now. Why does this kind of come in to be a big pick for you here? It always has been, but why now in the spring split?
I played it in the first 2013 relegation CLG played in, and we automatically won that game. And so even in scrims, I have 100% win ratio on Blitzcrank, and I'm trying to put that into the LCS now, even though last week was unfortunate, but hopefully it'll be banned against me soon.
All right, so what's the general outlook of the team? You guys got Zion back. Has he been providing anything from the team while he was kind of sitting back? How's it going?
Definitely, Zion is one of the huge improvements that we've made to the top lane, and he can definitely hold his own and also carry. And that being said, he also can control top side of the map and shot call up there when we're laning and stuff like that. So it's really good.
Do you guys kind of feel you can let him do his own thing, or are you kind of trying to alter him out of that carry top lane position?
We let him do his own thing, we don't really want to take away from his style, and it definitely is, helpful as a team.
Right on. You guys have Cloud9 coming up tomorrow. How do you feel about that, and how are you going to come into it?
I feel really good. Cloud9 definitely stepped up this week, so I'm excited to have a great game.
All right, Aphromoo, congratulations. 2-1 now in the split. Best of luck as you guys move on. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to break down that game a little more.
Now, that was a pretty fabulous game there by CLG. Very, very...
Fabulous, huh?
Yeah, fabulous. That's the word I'm going with. It was very straightforward. It seemed very, from that level 1 proxy to the first blood, and then the execution from there on out. Pretty solid play across the board for all of the individuals. I have to say it's nice to see Zion come into the team. And game 1, and granted he's been with them, so it's not as if they haven't been practicing, but game 1 on the LCS stage, they get a really solid victory under their belt.
He had a little bit of a hiccup there. After Impact already gave up first blood, so he didn't have to give up first blood with his kill. But
yeah, both top laners had a little bit of a rough start to that game. Zion, though, definitely playing that front line for the team later in the game that they needed of him. Now, I want to take a look immediately, though, at that level 1 proxy that we saw Riv ask Aphromoo about. We're going to pull that up on your screen. Zyrene, let's just go over the effectiveness of this nuanced strategy that they pulled out.
All right, so it's also the strong side here because they have Zion, they have the double jungle happening on this side, and what they're going to do is they're going to kill all of the melees in this so that the casters are left. Their wave will push up to the turret, and then that wave will actually push against them because it will have 3 more caster minions left in it, but that's the B part of the strategy. The A is the teleport comes in, Impact actually didn't back in that time, so he wasn't full HP, and they completely capitalized off of that by just having Zion immediately tell him, hey, this guy's half HP, we'll start rolling the clip, and then he ends up diving. They just have a really, really good start to this with blowing pretty much minimal summoner spells, too, to do so. Great hook by Aphro as well.
You have to say it's decently risky, too, to absorb that much damage at level 1 from minion damage. I mean, the double is just sitting there taking tons of minion damage.
Well, plus, did you see the cheeky thing they did? He got a couple of Ren stacks on the Gromp, so he even got the heal from killing the Gromp as well when he pulled that off. So he got a pretty big influx of money. Not to mention the after effects here, as we already know.
Yeah.
Aphromoo with hooks after hooks.
Of course, this hook was huge. As Aphromoo had said, they don't always come away from this level 1 strategy with the kill. So that was kind of the cherry on top. But that early turret damage, that definitely has to throw teams off guard. And that's the kind of ingenuity we're looking for in the early parts of the season when people are still trying to figure out patches.
And when people are able to use new champions. There's so many different strategies that you can come up with when there's a champion as varied as Kalista with all these different mechanics. CLG came out with 2 different things this time around.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how it would have played out if he had backed, gotten full HP, and then TP'd top. Probably would have been a different strategy there because at the same time, like I said, they only killed the melees. That wave was going to push towards them, so it would have been another freeze. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation, and you have to find a way to play around that.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay there from the world champion, having done the Krugs, going immediately. It seemed like just hungry for the farm, the possible golden experience there too. It was kind of a panic play more than anything. But I also have to say that from that point on, the Magi's build,
it didn't get any better
for
for
the Lulu,
yeah.
it just seemed a little, I don't know if it was off kilter. I don't know what we attribute that to on Impact's part.
It's a little frustration and desperation at that point. You're kind of looking to get back into the game because you were killed first, 3 minutes into the game, your first game in the North American LCS. And then at that point, it just looked pretty tilty.
Yeah.
I don't know if North American teams are let's tilt Season 3 world champions. And that's their strategies.
Welcome to North America, SKT.
Yeah. It's been rough for both of the world champions. I mean, Piglet earlier today and Impact in this game. Kobe, you touched real quickly on the mechanics of Kalista. I do want to go into that second mechanic of the ballista, which was a term coined by our observers, so credit to them for coming up with that one. We're going to pull this replay up. It's the one that happens in the mid lane. We're more just watching it because of its awesomeness than anything else.
So not only does this play look cool, but actually it was necessary because Xiao has flash. So let's roll the clip and we'll see if this was just a regular hook, Xiao, the flash would take him almost back into his turret range. But here's the flash in, he gets the hook, Xiao would only go back to basically safety. He pulls him all the way back and they get the free kill here. So it's not just for looks. It's a very effective strategy. Pulling someone an entire screen, extremely strong. As Sneaky said, though, you can combo Kalista with any support right now, and there's all kinds of different things that you can do.
Yeah, and in order to actually make that combo happen, when Blitzcrank's hook lands, it ends up basically it says you're going to go where Blitzcrank was when he landed the hook. So when that play happens, you actually see the hook flying towards him, and he's already taken the Fate's Call backwards. And then when the hook makes contact, Aphromoo way way further back than he would have been, and that's what pulls him the distance. Because if you're a little late on that and you don't have full trust in your support, then it won't go the full way.
That's what we saw him try and pull it off a couple of times. That's why at double lift, he never hesitates to see if the hook hits, because then it's too late. That's how we got rid of the hook and then flashback, so Blitzcrank can't do that long range hooking himself.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we used to see that, or you see that a lot of times in normal games with the Thresh Lantern and things like that. Unfortunately, there's not too many Thresh Blitz bot lanes in the LCS. But it does also beg the question of what other champions does Kalista allow for in that support type role? Will we see other champions come into the bot lane? Given
that it's only the beginning, right?
Well, I don't know. It's interesting speculation, and I would hope that teams are willing to kind of explore. Sneaky had told me that Nautilus actually with Kalista is a fantastic. He ran into it in solo queue and was like, it was pretty incredible the amount of damage that went out, and then again the ability to hook and things like that is astonishing.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think you have to go too far out of actual support champions to find good combos. You throw Morgana in there, that's perfect. You get an extra initiation. There's so many different champions. Thresh obviously combos extremely well with her because they can both pull each other, save each other whenever anybody gets in trouble. It's a lot of combos.
Yeah, and a lot of people are valuing, at least the Kalistas that we've seen, binding with their lane partner. So let's have a lane partner that can make use of the ultimate and the passive, usually in both ways. So Annie's really good with that, whereas something like a Braum doesn't really make use of the W as much as it makes use of the ultimate. So we're seeing a lot of champions paired with it that utilize both.
Right, Annie has the range to proc the W, but also some fantastic initiate that benefits from.
Blitzcrank is kind of he can actually make use of the W a little bit because he pulls somebody in, and then it's guaranteed damage at that point.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Now, that was a great win for CLG, coming out strong. Tip has a little bit of rethinking to do here. I mean, again, as Jat and Freak pointed out, Impact, fresh off the plane, they really haven't had that much time to get together, so there's no reason for anyone to condemn them as, a failure of a team here. But where should they be looking to make the quickest improvements?
Communication. I think it's communication. They need to play together more because they need to get a feel for each other's play styles and what each one of them wants to do at certain times. Because there's 3 languages on that team. Nobody's going to learn their teammates' languages overnight. They have to get a feel for each other and just play more together. That's really what it comes down to, and I think that's going to be the quickest improvement. I know it's very vague, but that's what I'm going to hit.
I think they also first have to work on what the shots they're actually going to be calling are. They've even talked about, Rush in his solo queue style. Yeah. The coach wants to work with him a lot more since he's a shot caller, of course. Getting the game plan in the first place and then working on communicating that game plan to everybody. Then they can come together, yeah.
Make it their own language.
I agree, yeah. There you go. It's going to be their own language.
All right, well, TIP, they have some time. It's early in the season to kind of get things in order. CLG, though, looking strong today. It's going to be a pretty interesting game to watch tomorrow against Cloud9. We are going to step away for a minute, but don't touch that browser because Team Solo Mid are preparing to face off against Winter Fox in our 5th game of the day. The North American LCS continues after this.
Going to keep the action rolling with Team Impulse and Counter Logic Gaming. There's a knockup, a lot of damage. Will they get him? Yes, they do. Aphromoo claims the kill thanks to Ignite. Rush almost dead. Show doesn't quite save it. Oh, no way. That was beautiful. And Tip missing. Oh, the flash hook. They got him. Shao goes down. That was beautiful.
The ballista play pulled off.
And there we go, the flash hook. Yep, they got him. Shao flashed the way safely, but in comes Sion and Jar when he popped the ult for that one.
CLG with a nice win over Impulse.